Okay, this is it. This is engine day.
Can't believe it's come to this. So we are sat here in Tahiti. We have two Nanni engines that have come all the way from Australia across the Pacific, and we have been told are just about to be delivered.
Last time on Red Seas, we removed the second engine from our boat, which went much quicker than the first one. We cleaned the engine bays and dismantled the old freezer system, and then became stalled when an issue with customs meant we were facing an unexpected $7,000 bill to release our new engines. In the end, we watched as our old ones were seized and destroyed, but on a brighter note, they have finally agreed to release our new Nanni engines, and so today is looking up. Wow.
Parfait. Excellent. Parfait. Excellent.
Comme ça. C'est super, merci beaucoup. Oh my goodness, they're here!
It's taken so long. This is ridiculous. So these things have traveled across an ocean to get to us. We've been traveling for what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
With the old Yanmars, we've gone through the Caribbean, across the Pacific, and then we found ourselves in the middle of nowhere with no engines. And the guys at Nanni have helped. They saved us.
Oh my goodness, it has been a wild ride trying to get the old engines out of Indy, onto the dock and away, and now these new lovely beauties are here, and the only thing stopping us from getting out and venturing again is just figuring out how to install these bad boys. So that's...
The only thing is I had to open the case.
Fall to the first hurdle. Oh.
Wait, these cases are built really well.
Do we need to take the top off, or do we just take this single pin out of the bottom and lift the whole thing off?
Hey, wait a minute, what? I have a feeling that Nanni Australia knew that they were sending them to us.
Do you think it's like pass the parcel and they've actually put like lots of layers in?
Do you want to do the next one until the music stops?
Yeah! I got it stuck.
You broke the hammer.
You know I can't be trusted. Can she do it?
Yes,
Right.
she can.
Ready to lift off the lid?
Yeah, let me put the camera somewhere so you guys can watch.
So hopefully we just lift and it'll go.
So what's wild about this is, I don't know if anyone knows, but you guys made this happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to take a pause and recognize that these engines wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support that you guys gave us, because we were like the end of the line.
Yeah, so we arrived in French Polynesia after our crossing and found out that one of our engines was very dead and the other was quite dead. And we literally had no plan. We thought that was the end of the road, that's it, time's up. We can't afford to buy new engines. It was not on the cards, so that's it, sell the boat, go get real jobs and go back to proper life.
Yeah, sell our 20-year-old boat, which, you know, doesn't have a huge amount of value left in her at that stage. And then you guys have totally rallied around us. And this moment of opening this up is like, that's what that marks, right?
I wish you could all be here to like help us open it. I feel like, oh, I don't know.
Okay, we're doing this as representatives of you. Here we go.
I feel like there's like should be a ribbon that we cut, or like put a rosette on it, tie a bow around it.
A metaphorical ribbon cutting.
An imaginary.
The scissors, madam.
Oh, I was.
Of course, obviously, come on.
Ka-ching!
Hey! All right.
Here we go. Ooh. Ah, bits are falling out. We broke it already. Look how blue it is.
So blue.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Open her up.
Oh, hello, she's so, she's glittery.
She's shiny.
Nanni made it glittery for us.
Thank you, Pete. Peter, you're a legend. Peter at Nanni Australia has been like helping us through all of this, planning out what we needed and how it was going to work, and
Calming us down when we panic.
calming us down. And oh man. So one thing that the guys picked up on when we were planning this out is that our engine bed, which is as wide as this pallet is, was slightly wider than the design of the feet on this particular model. So they've built these packers that basically brace the engine out. It's a piece of milled, is that stainless or aluminium? I think it might be aluminium. I don't know, something. Some milled metal, and it basically braces out the mount. So the engine mounts actually land on our original engine bed. We don't have to worry about that misalignment.
I so hope that we measured it right so that when we lift this into place and drop it down, it actually sits on what's there, because we were trying to measure the boat with the old engines still in place.
Yeah.
And so we were like in the tiny space, like leaning over, and then we couldn't actually put a tape measure through the engine because the engine was in the way. And we were sort of like holding everything at different angles. We measured it a bunch of times and it came out different every time. So I was quite nervous about that. But we have been assured that, surprisingly, they know what they're doing. So that's a nice, refreshing change from our stance.
There's so many things. The alternate 120 amp alternator comes built in and already blue.
Oh my goodness.
We had 80 amp before, so
yeah,
that's
going to make a huge difference.
So this whole section is the heat exchanger, and what's really cool is they've moved the thermostat, I think it is, and the anodes are hiding in here, because this is actually an aluminium piece, but the thermostat being in the heat exchanger rather than on the feed. Because our old engine, you'd have to basically let it warm enough before it would actually open the thermostat and let the coolant through the rest of the engine, whereas this is faster, so it can actually cool the engine properly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
There's lots of things we don't know about these engines, or any engines for that matter, but
we'll figure it out.
we figured out how to remove the old ones without too badly destroying them, so hopefully we can put these ones in without touching a single scratch. They're going to go in and look just
so
as shiny.
smoothly.
We're so far from anywhere, you can't buy parts very easily here. And so we have like a year's supply of filters.
Oh my goodness.
Spare belt, perfect. I don't know what this one is.
I forgot that we were getting new consoles.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Oh, they look so new.
So, and it's push start.
No key.
There is a key for safety.
Okay.
So you can on the key, and then you don't start the engine until you hit that button.
Yeah.
And then we can take the key away if we want to lock up the boat. Although, you know, I can see about that if we choose to do it all the time. That's going to be so easy.
Oh, they're so
fit.
shiny. This honestly feels like Christmas. We have been waiting for these to arrive for so long, and then we've had all the hassles with customs, and then all the kind of the panic of what to do with the old engines, and suddenly here we are, and we have the engines on the dock, ready to go straight into Indy. And it's just like the small matter, the small challenge of how we actually put them in and fit them. But that's a challenge we can overcome. We're willing to give it a shot, but today just feels unreal.
Yeah, but that's what we're going to start doing now. We're going to get these installed.
Yeah.
Like, why wait around? I can't wait to put these suckers
Exactly.
in. It's gonna be
All
great.
right. That looks official.
This looks very proper. You got like a proper old wallet, but in it, I think, is the full checklist that they did back at the factory.
Aha.
So the declaration of conformity, and then our gearbox, the Technodrive gearbox that they worked out for us. So because we were trying to use our original props and original shaft, and we're not sail drive, we're shaft driven. So that's where the Technodrive gearbox comes into play, because it's less common these days to have a shaft driven boat when you're a cat anyway. And yeah, they were able to work it out for us. So that's perfect.
You.
And we're a 7-degree down tilt, I think, which is also quite unusual. So yeah, they've like checked everything off for us before the engines have shipped. As far as I'm aware, this is pretty much a plug and play.
Yeah, which is what we need.
That could not be easier, seriously. They've even included the, what do you call these again? Like the couplings for the gear lever and the throttle.
Oh, wow.
It's like that's just so we can connect our wire-based, you know, our cables that control our throttles and our gear selection.
Yeah.
They're like added in. So
everything is here.
It's all fresh.
We keep saying, okay, that's everything. Let's put them in the boat now. And then we see one more exciting thing. And I just walked around this side of the engine and saw a little QR code with all of the documentation stuck on the top of the engine.
Oh, that's
Ian loves QR codes.
I do. QR codes should be everywhere. Everything should be a QR code. There shouldn't be a need for actual paper manuals. And there isn't one. So that must be where the data is.
I love it. It's great. It's done everything.
Okay, so to lift these bad boys into the engine bay is going to take some skill, magic thinking, illusions, and belief in Tinkerbell. So what we're going to go for is we're going to keep the plastic on because we've decided our chain hoists...
We want to keep it so good.
Our chain hoist is so dirty, we just don't want to cover the engines in any of that rust and nastiness. And sparkly blue, come on, why would you do anything else? So we're going to leave the plastic wrapping that came in place. I sound like my dad right now. I promise you that we're going to take the wrapping off once they're installed. It won't be 3 years from now and the TV will still have that shiny plastic film on it with air bubbles in it. And Brownie is just taping up some holes that we've made in it to get to the lift points. So the idea is
doing the arts and crafts section of the engine installation.
Well, as I said the other day, it was life is physics, everything else is cutting and sticking. And I think that's how we divide this. So I'm going to do the physics, you do the cutting and sticking, and together we're going to lift this thing off the ground.
Skills!
The idea we have is before, when we lifted the old engines out of the boat, You all right there?
Yeah, I just kicked the wood.
Okay, before when we lifted the old engines out, we actually ended up resting them on their sump pans, which is the tray right at the bottom of the engine, right in there, where the oil kind of congregates. So we don't want to do that again because obviously these are shiny new. So the plan is we're going to utilize the woodwork that they shipped on, the pallet and the sort of extra pieces of wood that created legs. We're going to try and use those in the engine bay to kind of rest the engine so that we can juggle all of our lift points around and hopefully get this thing all the way from back there to roughly around there, inside the boat. Yeah, it's a bit of an adventure.
We're trying to be a little bit sensible, and we thought, oh, let's just measure the engine and see if it fits through the engine bay hatch. Any luck?
I think it's going to be like plus or minus a centimetre.
Excellent.
Which is...
The last one came out with about 1 centimetre spare.
Yeah.
Looked like it was made to measure. Hopefully this one fits and we don't have to cut the boat apart.
Pretty much. I mean, it's going to be, yeah, within, what's that in silly numbers? 3/8 of an inch?
I don't know. Less than half an inch.
Less than half an inch. It'll be within half an inch. Or outside of half an inch.
Or outside of half an inch.
Quite, yeah. And 57 across. I'm pretty sure we're good across.
Okay, so this may fit. Hooray!
Having shipped them all the way from Australia, they will fit.
I like it that we're only just thinking of that now.
Well, not just. I mean, just hadn't confirmed it, that's all. We don't have a crane, as you know. So the plan is we're going to use the boom again. So we've got our main, what is it again? Topping lift from the top of the mast coming down to the end of the boom. And then we've got this chain hoist on the end of the boom, which will come down and pick up the 2 lift points. And now we're going to find out what the balance is on this engine when you lift it, because I don't know yet. So we just need to swing the boom out, tie it off to a wall somewhere, and then work it out.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
What were we saying about physics?
I'm supposed to doing the glitter and the cutting and the sticking.
Shall I go check that the main sheet's loose on the other side? I mean, that is enough. We're actually in line with the engine.
Yeah,
so.
That's in line now.
All right, tie that off to something.
Tie it off all the way over here. All right, ready to go?
I mean, I think so.
We have done this before to lift the engines out, but it's a little bit scarier when I care about these engines.
It's harder when it's your own kid, isn't it?
And it is a bit windier today, so we're expecting some swing.
Okay, come on, let's do this.
Okay, we're up. I'm glad that we kept the bag on the engine. Bag's getting little rusty mics on it.
Keep my engine good.
I know. Okay, so I will pull in the main sheet while you loosen the red line, yeah?
Yep. Pull in on the main sheet a little bit more now.
Okay.
Okay, lock at that.
Okay, locked.
And then we'll lock off the other end of the boom. If you're able to take the pressure off the red line for me while you're doing it.
Yeah, I can lock that off.
Just some things I'd have to do 2 things at once. You got it?
Okay, I've got the red line.
Okay, I'm letting go. Get the white line.
Yeah, on it.
Pull it as tight as you can.
Coming down. Well done, I'm getting there. Back is touching. We are down. Woohoo! Well, that was exciting.
Who needs a crane, a forklift? Health and safety and skills.
An extra person.
Or 5.
Ah, we got an engine on the boat.
Hey, it's shiny. Can you just live there, please? Maybe we need outboards.
Oh, that would be great.
The thing we haven't explained, some of you are probably asking, why are you doing this when it's a little bit windy, a little bit choppy, a little bit rolly? So why are we doing it in this weather? Well, we've just found out that there's a fairly major cyclone coming through because right now it's cyclone season here in Tahiti. So basically, if we don't get these installed and up and running in, I think, the next 4 days, then we will be riding out a cyclone on the works dock, which isn't even as secure as some of these other docks in the marina where they've got like ground lines and loads of extra fenders. We've not really been in the marina for 3 years. So we're having to do a little bit of improvisation when it comes to fenders. Certainly when it comes to dock lines, we don't have nearly enough. And there's no way for us to secure ourselves off the wall if any big storm surge comes through. So the clock is kind of ticking. We're
just trying to detach the pallet off the bottom of the engine bed, but we want to keep part of the wood there to protect the sump pan as we lower it in. So Ian's getting excited with the multi-tool, and hopefully we'll be able to just lift it off in a second. Well, actually, we said we were going to do that and realised that there's like a million nails and screws and stuff in from the bottom. So instead, we are just going to take the whole engine off the wood and hope that somehow when we get it inside the engine bay, there's a kind of pause point where we can rest it on the feet. We've put our wooden skids, like big long planks of wood, sorry, inside the engine bay. We're hoping it'll rest on that, but we just need to be super like cautious of the sump pan and everything that hangs lower than the feet to make sure that it never rests on that, because we want to take such good care of it.
We now got it on longer slings because we had on short slings to get it over our lifelines, but the long slings means it will fit all the way down to the engine bay. Mainly because the chain hoist isn't long enough to go all the way down to the engine bay.
And also we don't want the chain like chafing against the edge of the fiberglass. So, I mean, it's still not great, but that's slightly better.
Yeah, these are decent climbing slings.
Here we go.
Okay.
Lifting the front edge. Lifting the back edge.
I have to go inboard rather than outboard at this point.
Okay. So we already took these doors off their hinges when we lifted the other engines out, just so that we could clear a bit more space, but suddenly means opening them is quite tricky. Good to lower.
Bring it down.
Let's try this.
All right, it's gonna be really tight.
That looks a good alignment. This is really hard in this swell.
Yeah.
Keep going down.
Yeah.
Transmission's going past.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay, gearbox is in.
Okay, if I can just do the leaning outside of this, then you can do the steadying left to right. Okay, we're in.
We are in.
Ooh, that was hard, right?
Yeah, hold on. So we've got the engine in the engine bay, but we need to be able to rest it on these wooden skids so that we can kind of change the mounting points for our two chain hoists so that we can sort of shuffle it further in. And this is the sort of fiddly bit, and the swell is definitely not helping. Okay, front foot on the inboard side.
Bit more, bit more, bit more.
My front strap is nice and loose now, so all the way to the front is on the skid.
Good.
Just the back one. Now we are just basically onto the monkey bar stage where we're just lowering on this chain hoist and lifting on the chain hoist that is going like from above where it will sit in the end, like up through to the cabin. And we're hoping that as we lower one and lift on the other, it'll sort of move it into the engine bay. That is the dream, that is the hope. We are so nearly there. I can taste the success, even if I can't see it. So this engine mount is starting to touch this skid.
All right, in which case, temporarily, yes, we'll get rid of it.
Okay. So the engine is quite far back, but not quite far enough to actually lower it onto its mounts. So we're just having to figure out how we can move it that extra little distance when we can't put it down, because if it goes down at the moment, it'll just sit on top of the prop shaft and the shiny new coupling that we put in the other day.
Yeah, so basically we've got like this length of engine bay still to go, and the engine mounts. Only the back feet are actually over the top of where the front feet need to be. So we're basically an entire engine away from being in the right place. And we've run out of chain space on the front end. So and this one is fully locked up. It can't go any higher. This could be tricky.
It's like we need to build a temporary engine bed with the width that we have. So to try and build some kind of stand that it can sit on while we change our straps, I'm just going to try and take apart the pallet that it came on, because we know that that fits. And because I'm so lovely and Ian is stuck in the engine bay currently, I'm going to take him a treat while I figure that out. It's like a delivery haul for you.
Thank you. let's try and lower on that.
Okay, lowering. So those wooden skids kind of worked. We have lowered the engine. It's sitting precariously. No, it's not precarious. It's sitting beautifully over the top of the coupling and the prop shaft. But we have reached our extension, not on the chain hoist, it could go lower, but I just feel like if we lowered this anymore and the hook and the chain is going to be going past the fiberglass and the wood here, it's just not going to move very smoothly. There's going to be a lot of friction and clunking and dropping and things. So we have sort of rested it down for a second so that we can switch these slings out with longer lines like a bridle. And that means the chain can be way back up here again and the rope can lower. So we can lower the chain hoist a little bit more and move the whole thing along. Oh, and here's a canoe race coming in. So we lowered the engine onto the skids and that has given us enough slack that we could move the chain hoist from the boom and try and add it to our second lift point just on the ceiling here. But it is so tight for space. We don't really have that much height to then lift it. And we are so nearly past the prop shaft. But that is the terrifying bit that we really don't want to damage.
All right, so we can lose these skids again. Our engine is down.
What? How did that happen?
I honestly don't know.
I came round here in a panic. Okay, let me just show you what I'm seeing. I had to run around inside because suddenly we felt like this beam was kind of curved and giving away and we're nervous that it was going to snap. And then when I got here, the whole thing was like lifting at an angle. And as I got here, Ian was like, "Wow, I did it!" So the lesson of the story is I should have just left you to it, really.
No comment? No, definitely not. It needed 3 people. But it appears that we've managed to, well, I'm not going to say we've installed a diesel engine, but we've managed to get a diesel engine 8 feet.
In the right place.
We've moved it 8 feet successfully.
And it's taken us all day to do it.
The magic of editing.
Oh my goodness.
That's nuts.
Was a beast.
So, yeah, so it's resting on the mounts on the engine bed, which is pre-angled, but not perfectly.
Yeah.
And then we still have to also do way more alignment. So the shaft coupling, which is actually a new shaft coupling, it's really cool. We'll talk about that later. And it's got to line up to the gearbox, the transmission.
Yeah, I'm going to come around and then we can see it. Oh, look at it.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
So every sling under the sun, but look, like the engine mounts are bang in the middle of the base with these packers.
Oh yeah, look, that does fit perfectly.
They couldn't have got that better. It fits better than the old mounts, look.
Oh yeah, it does, yeah.
So
the old one didn't fit and that was
bang in the middle on both sides.
Oh, perfect.
Like nailed it. Send it back. This is the alignment that's on it. So we've got the new shaft coupler. So we put that on after an eventful evening.
Yes, that involved quite a lot of distraction.
I believe the term is precision.
Okay, it is 5 o'clock and I think I'm going to call it because there's quite enough victory for one day. We have got an engine off the dock through the engine hatch, which we weren't sure if it was going to fit. We have now got it into place and vaguely it is settled on its feet. We can't bolt it into place, so we're going to leave the chain hoist on. But I'm going to call it a day. I am happy with that.
It's time for pizza. Pizza is reward.
Yes.
Surely we're allowed pizza.
Yes.
Normally we only get pizza on passage, or for passage. It's
like our little tradition every time we leave a country, but we're not going to leave the country for a while. So yeah, I'm claiming pizza tonight.
Yes.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
Oh, kill me now.
People are not going to appreciate the lovely shiny blue newness of it.
Oh, don't you worry.
It's just going to be hidden away inside an engine bay. We want people to see it.
Don't you worry. If you come to visit us at any point, I will be taking you into the engine bays.
Hi, I'm just dropping off something I borrowed. No, come into my engine bay.
Why? Have you not noticed my nanny?